Hey everyone, Michael coming back at you on the Archangel 15. I have a continuation video of my theory of everything ending video presentation that I did. This is a final thoughts aspect to the last presentation. It was two parts. It's kind of, you could say this is the third part. In those two videos, I asked in the beginning, I asked one or two questions. I said, one, why are we here? And two, do you think S&P 500 companies need or want your money for investment? I answered the one about the S&P 500. Basically, these companies already have billions and billions of dollars on the books, and they can borrow money for next to nothing. They don't need your money. It's like part of an agenda that you're selling out to by investing your whole life earnings into this. And like furthermore, it's like a pyramid scheme where like the people that have been in this for like many years have such an exceedingly unfair advantage over the people that are just buying in now, to where it's ultimately designed to collapse, or eventually they're just going to have to create a complete slave state, and they know this, and that's probably why they want to phase out humans and bring in robots and foreigners as well. A lot of these people that are big proponents of open borders, I wonder if you were to tell them, okay, we're going to take your money and everybody's going to be equal, but yet you have to share everything equal to these other people. Like, I really believe a lot of these elites that like they want to have porous borders to like allow them and their kids to like basically travel the world, do what they want to do, and they know that the Anglo middle class people are not going to stand for this after a while, and they're the ones that are like have natural birthright and the rights to to this country and are citizens, and through voting power and reform and protests can stand up against their evil lies and facetious activity. So they'd rather bring in people who don't have any rights, who are just want to come here and just to have a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of, as my parents used to say. And so like I said, I didn't answer about why we are here. I asked the question, but I didn't really answer it. It was kind of an inference as to why why are we here. Everybody kind of like has an own response to that. I'm not going to really get into that right as much here right now. Your answer may be a little different than mine, but through the 11 hours of footage that I filmed, you can kind of answer it for yourself. It's basically there's this beautiful harmony that's supposed to exist in the world, and that like from just a select few entities messing it up, the war machine, the drilling for oil, burning the oil, polluting, or depleting our environment of air that we all breathe, contaminating the water. I can tell you that like things like if you drank beer, like when I was like many years ago, if you drank beer, it tasted different. If you drank soda, it tasted different. Everything just was different. Like it's like I think that like everything's starting to get like contaminated, and it's not going to get any better. Probably a good investment to invest in old wine, to be honest with you. And if so, where I want to get with this is, okay, so a while back I was at a store with somebody, and they had something in their shopping cart, and they didn't want it, and they wanted just to put it back on a random shelf. And I kind of questioned them on it, like, go put it back, where it belongs. And they said, oh, it gives somebody a job. And I had to ponder on this for a while, and it was like, okay, maybe there's some truth to that. Maybe it's good to have like the more jobs, people in tough times, stimulate economic growth, and more people have more money to spend. But it's really a failing ideology and failing logic. And like I eventually got to the point where I tried to basically raise awareness to this person for the error of their ways, and like explain to them that like, okay, so like that horrible logic. Okay, so we have people that we just need to because because of your negligence, or because we need to create BS jobs, then that person is basically eats, breathes, and craps. So we have to provide food for them. Then we have to have they have to have a car, they have to have a dentist, they have to have doctors, and yeah, it's good, but like if we just cut out all the BS, we'd be a lot further on, and our planet would ultimately benefit. Like our planet is the one that is at the demise of this philosophy. There's essentially two contravening philosophies, what have you, as to like how the human race should manifest. One is like this one of the Freemasons, which I've covered many times, but there's my disliking for a lot of their stuff. They believe that humans need to be controlled on a continuum. I've talked about this cradle to grave scenario, where like basically from like your birth, before you're even born until you die, they have your entire life figured out. Like you're born, you get vaccinated, you don't really have a choice there. You go to some schools where you're fed a whole bunch of lies and garbage, and like put into this whole consumerism society. Then okay, you get older. I guess if you get good grades, you go to a good college. If you don't, then maybe you're schlub, or who knows, or you go to a trade school, work for the union. I don't know. And then so you're indebted to your universities. You come out, then you get a job, and you work up the corporate ladder. And after a while, then you get a mortgage, and you get a car payment, and then eventually you have kids, and then your kids become slaves after you. And that's your life. And for some people, maybe this is a winning philosophy. But like I said, the people that are just coming into this now, are buying in their 401ks and the S&P 500, like have a significantly unfair advantage. In my past presentations, like I was saying, like a company like Boeing, I don't know what their stock trades for now, $300, $400, $500 a share, right? Something like this. But like in 1982, you could have bought it for like $2.82 a share. And like the percentage, like if you quantify the percentage increase, it would have to be like $36,000 a share or something like that to have the same percentage appreciation. I talked about this in my Zio Global Truth presentations. Forget my numbers for not being exact, but you get the point. It's a huge, huge thing that nobody talks about. So that was one. That we're humans, that we need have somebody always above us. We need herded, and then we need controlled, and we like have to basically be slaves. Then number two, which is like what I think like is the truth of why we're here, is basically to live life on our own terms, to not be enslaved to a clock or to a debtor. Basically, like pretty much like the elites do, to drink wine, play music, frolic, and love. And use our imaginations. I mentioned a quote of mine in the past: imagination will never exist in a world where stagnation will always persist. And if you go around every small town in this country, you'll probably see very quickly where the money and the stagnation lie. And the problem with this whole frolicky aspect of like people just doing what they want to do is that like people would basically be like wild dogs breeding out of control, and the populations would run rampant, and you'd have people having 7, 8, 9, 10 kids, and it wouldn't be a sustainable philosophy. And and then also another aspect is like, what about like people that are dentists? We need like dentists, so we do need certain doctors. Obviously, if we improve genetics, that's a big aspect of it right there. Cut out the poor genetics, and like increase the I guess overall health and well-being just through certain genetic programs, which this is not my philosophy. This has already been going on for years. And but like it's like, how would you incentivize certain people over like the trades people versus the skilled labor versus like the professionals? And this is why these people play God. And then imagine this. So imagine if we had free energy, and like so you could, in your own house, you could grow your own organic food with free lights that you don't have to pay electricity for, and like you could basically sustain yourself for free. You could harvest water right out of the air of a dehumidifier or something. And what would you need money for, really? You could, if you had a car that didn't need gasoline, and they had six to 10 major working parts instead of 600 thousands like the cars that are today. You could drive wherever you wanted. You could have complete freedom. Imagine this. How like the possibilities for how amazing it would be. Where I live, I grew up this area, southeastern Pennsylvania, about an hour or so outside of Philadelphia, not far from Lancaster County, Amish country. Used to be like real rural, like country. I grew up with some like real country folk people that like really taught me like a lot about like outdoors, like hunting, fishing, trapping. And some of these people were hardcore people that like literally like we get up at 4 and 5 in the morning to check their traps, and this is how they made a little bit of money before they would go to their regular job. Some people would literally eat possums and raccoons, literally eat them, and like like this like a different philosophy. And like these people weren't lesser of the human race. They were pure, and that's how they lived off the land, and they were you can learn a lot about life and nature from like these type of people, and like just how much will certain people have to live versus other people who like all they want to do is play video games or rely on their mom and dad to support them and everything else. I've identified where all the pushback is, and it's like basically this oil industry, banking sectors, the biotech, the war machine. And if we got rid of these people, imagine how much waste we would cut out. And like imagine if we could just glorify nature, or like the beauty of nature, and like immerse ourselves in like hiking and going to the beach, and not having to worry about simple trivial stuff, and like going to college and SATs and entrance exams, and I've mentioned probably about 50 things in this presentation in my series that like are BS, that like top level universities people pay big money to go to are being lied to, or like basically learning BS information. I mentioned this notion of pure consciousness as well, and like this whole level, like I said, this dream world that I just mentioned is like would be like this pure level of purple level of consciousness. Imagine if we could all live there, and the reason that we can't is because like by design, this like hasty, like deceitful world, like we would get eaten up alive, just with the dog eat dog world that exists by like the design of the elites. And the elites, they do what they want. Like I said, they're kids. They go to the beach, they go skiing. They frolic, they drink out, drink, they do drugs, they do whatever they want. And like meanwhile, they want everybody else chasing the carrot, thinking you work hard, you're eventually going to get something. And we have this notion of the American dream. And I'm here to tell you, like I'm an optimist. I'm a fighter. I'm an optimist, and I'm a very hardworking person. And like it's never been harder than it is today to like to have anything of substance. And like this whole game that they want you to play, where like like I said, it's like this corporate ladder, or like this you wait in line and wait your turn, and like it's not good. It's you need to wake up and realize who the slave master really is, that everything, and I mean every single thing, is already controlled by greedy, evil people who want to play God and basically manipulate society for their own benefit. And the music industry is completely controlled anymore. The news media, like it's absolutely ridiculous, and it's really sad, just how they try to like dumb down everybody. But I just wanted to throw this in there. Like I said, I had this talk with this person that mentioned about it'll give somebody a job, and I like kind of wanted to add this aspect into this whole thing. And I mean, it kind of gets into a deeper quandary or debate, and you can understand where I'm going with it. And I guess where we're going to end is you need to ask yourself, where is your happiness? Where is your love? Where is your energy best spent? Like if you don't have any passions, like things that you do for love or interest, I feel bad. I have many things that I do. I like to work in my garden. I like to read books. I like to have my YouTube channel here with my suppressed medical science stuff. I like to ride my bike, go kayaking. When I'm out, I try to pick up trash if I see it, and you get the point. You just, if you can raise your overall level of consciousness, it improves your quality of life. And when you improve your quality of life, you find yourself happier, and you find yourself, in a better frame of mind. I hope you all enjoyed this series. I'm probably going to take a break for a while, like I mentioned before. I've done a lot of work here, and I don't really think my channel is adequately viewed like it should be. I think there's like a deep suppression of sorts. Maybe in time that'll change with this new administration coming in and other aspects as well. But given the subject matter of what I talk about, I think you understand what's really going on if you're actually watching my channel. Take care, folks. I'll see you again on the Archangel 15. Thanks for watching.